Joined now by New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo. Governor Cuomo, good morning. Thank you for taking the time this morning, sir.
Good to be with you, Savannah, Hoda.
Yeah, our first question has to do with this notion of a lockdown. First of all, I'm sure you're aware there's tons of rumors around New York City that the city could be locked down. But we've seen what's happened in places like Italy. Is something like that, in other words, a mandatory closures? Do you see that as something that might happen in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of panic, a lot of fear. Frankly, not justified by the facts, but it's there. In the case of New York, no city in the state can close down without the state government's approval, and no city in the state will do that.
And what about just in general? Do you anticipate, I mean, we were just talking about Vice President Pence, who had indicated that there were going to be further guidelines. Do you anticipate some more drastic measures? Right now, the CDC, for example, is recommending, I believe, no gatherings larger than 50 people. Do you think it's going to get tougher than that?
Yeah, no, it has to, because the numbers keep going up, right? Here in New York, we make the decisions on the science, on the data. And you look at the increase in the number of cases, and you know you have to do more. I actually believe that we have been behind on this disease from day one. It was in China. It was in China in November. We were on notice, and we've been behind. It's time to take this seriously, for the federal government to stand up and do its job. There is no country that has dealt with this, not China, not South Korea, that has not nationalized the effort. You look at your report that just went on. All these different cities, all these different states doing all these different things. We shouldn't have a patchwork quilt. Let the federal government stand up and say, here are the rules. Well, this is the rule on movie theaters. This is the rule on bars, et cetera.
Governor Cuomo, let's move forward. Let's talk testing, because we've heard from the federal government that there are millions of tests now out there. Do you feel that we have the adequate number of tests in New York? And are there, like, drive-through testing situations being set up? What's happening here?
Yeah, we are ramping up on the testing, again, much later than we should have been. I said to the president earlier this week, let New York take care of its own testing. If I have to wait for the FDA and the CDC, we'll be here forever. He's allowed New York to do its own testing. We'll be ramping up the testing. But, Hoda, the next challenge, right? Let's get ahead of this. Plan forward. The next challenge is that the curve that everybody talks about, I see as a wave, and it is going to crash on the hospital system. We do not have the capacity to manage this number of cases. That's what happened in Italy. Yeah. I called on the president to use the Army Corps of Engineers. Let's start building temporary hospital facilities before that happens, because it will happen.
Governor, unfortunately, we got to leave it there. We thank you for your time. Hope we can continue this conversation. We have much more ahead.